everyone. Welcome. Welcome to video number 93. We are on the last video, maybe, or the next one will be the last one, of Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book, How to Get Anything You Want. I hope you're having a beautiful week. Happy Good Friday to all who celebrate. It has a quiet peacefulness in the air, at least where I am. It's 3:33 too, as well, over on the Pacific Coast. I hope you had a beautiful week, and happy Easter if you celebrate Easter to you and your family. And I hope it's a very peaceful holiday season for everyone. We are going to continue with lesson number 7. We are again on the last couple pages. If you missed any of the previous readings, we read this entire book together, y'all. We've been through it. Elsie, she wrote this over 100 years ago. And the relevance, it's timeless wisdom, y'all. I mean, many authors have written about this sort of thing, about how our mindset affects our life, how our mindset creates our life, period, And this is lesson number 7, basically talking about how we actually make our desires materialize. I was just thinking about this. Somebody had made a comment about manifestation. Show me somebody who manifests something. Maybe they were referring to money. I'm not sure. They were poking a little bit at one of the content creators who sold a course or something. And she goes, "Oh, tell me somebody who manifested something without selling a course." And I don't think it was about money. So I just want everybody to remember, manifestation is not just about money. Manifestation, switch the word manifestation, because I think a lot of people think it's like woo-woo and like magic. It can seem like that at times. But manifestation is just bringing into material form, manifesting something. We have a thought and then we experience it. So making something happen, bringing it into form, creating an experience for yourself. If you get caught up in the word manifestation, and I don't blame people for having a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to that, because people do use it to manipulate all the time. Okay. And I think I shared before, my greatest, wins in life, manifestations, if you will, have nothing to do with money. Have nothing to do with money. And I'm sure for most people too. Of course, and I was listening to this too. Whatever desires you have, especially if they're material and money, do not suppress them. Go for them. You want it for a reason. There's lessons in it. You will never be able to get that, like scratch that itch, if you don't do it. This is what cracks me up. People who have already earned wealth, or, and you see it a lot in actors, successful people, actors, artists, sports stars, anybody who's made a lot of money. They go, "I wish I could just tell people that it's not the money. I wish that I could just tell people that no matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter." It's like, that is not going to make someone not go for it. They have to learn that lesson themselves. This is what it reminds me of. When you have a child, or when you have somebody younger who is in a relationship and they're going to get their heart broken, and you say, "Listen, let me tell you, let me save you a bunch of time. Don't get into that relationship because you're going to get your heart broken." Do you think that person's going to listen to you? No. I will never forget. I was in the kitchen. I had to have been 18. I don't even remember. And my mom said, "Girl, he's going to break your heart." And I said, "Mm-hmm." She was right. But I had to go through that. I had to do that. You can't protect people, and you shouldn't, because it's their journey. And why would you protect someone from learning a great lesson? Like, nothing teaches you something like achieving a goal and realizing the true lesson in it. Nothing teaches you like falling in love and getting your heart broken to realize what love is really about. It's like, we cannot bypass or leapfrog over a lesson just because you've been there and then you try to tell somebody. Like, yes, that actually works sometimes when, like, in small situations, when you can learn from other people's lessons without having to go through it yourself. But there's some things in life that you have to learn on your own. I think manifestation is one of them when it comes to getting your heart's desire. Like, if you want to be a millionaire, go make $1 million and then realize what it's really about, and then start living a bigger purpose. But we can't deny our desires, right? Don't deny it. Don't demand it. Whatever your desires are, never feel guilty. But we all have different desires. Some people have desires to win awards, to have PRs, personal records, when it comes to their sports, when it comes to money. But there's a lot of funny stuff when it comes to money, because there's a lot of guilt and a lot of judgment around that. So anyways, that came to my mind when that comment was made about oh, all these coaches out there are just selling courses. It's like, yeah, they are. They're helping people. Um, they're helping people. Like that's how people make money in this world. You give a service or a product or perform a job and you get paid for it. Yeah. But back to manifestations, it's like, and money can come in many different ways. Like I remember I took this, I love her so much, this woman. Um, and I was taking her course. It was like money manifestation and like money mindset. I found like $20 at the park. Like it's a thing. Or you get like a random paycheck. It's like I've recently had a big miracle. There was like, let's just call it an investment that I had no idea was worth something. Let's just say that I went from like, I had many thousands of dollars in my account overnight. Let's just put it that way. When I didn't even know it was there. And I said, this has been sitting literally in front of my face for years and I didn't even know. And so just know that manifestation, whether it be money or anything else, can come in so many different ways. You just have to be open to it. And when you have a negative mindset or you judge other people or you have your own wounds and pains and project it, that's going to be your experience. So when we are on this journey of developing ourselves, wanting to call in greater things, just notice what triggers you. It's trying to teach you something. Not that the other person's a big jerk. It might be true that they're a jerk or they're seedy or squirmy or, but it always has a lesson for you. What is in it? What's in it for me? The lesson is always with us. And when we just project and judge and um, criticize other people, you might be right, but you're missing what's in it for you if you don't take that deeper look. Like, why is this person triggering me? Why am I so angry when I see this and that and this? So, anyways, that was a tangent. But back to like, again, manifestation, if that word creeps you out, making things happen, bringing into form, like manifesting working from home for me, manifesting a six-figure salary, manifesting a wait list on my client list when it came to therapy, like manifesting a healthy therapeutic practice, manifesting marathons, running marathons, manifesting a trip, beautiful trips. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean it doesn't come out of nowhere. And I didn't like, I'm going on a trip in a couple weeks. I've never really traveled with my parents. And I am so excited that I get to go with them. They've never been to Europe, and it has been on my bucket list. And that is manifesting, meaning it's happening in real time. Does it mean it popped out of nowhere? No, we planned it, we paid for it, we've been preparing for it, but now it's manifested and we are going. And so it means taking an idea or the thought, something you want, believing you can have it, and then starting to take the steps to get it. Like manifestation doesn't mean that you just sit there and you don't have to do anything. I think that's a lot of rhetoric that people think like it's just whatever. Anyways, that post just sparked a lot of thoughts in me. But this is just for us here, okay? Elsie has been teaching us very well how we get anything we want, and we truly can have anything we want. If there's any guilt, if there's any fear, if there's any ghosts of fear within you that tell you that you can't get it, like we have all been raised with a lot of negative virus code programming of pain and suffering, that you're a bad person, you don't deserve it, and you're unworthy. And it is like, it's not true. When you realize how not true it is, you're like, I could live another way. You mean like I can be happy? It's like, it doesn't mean bad things are going to happen or life isn't going to be difficult or there won't be challenges or opportunities to forgive other people. There will always be that. But it's like, think of your life as a classroom. Okay. Every day you wake up in your classroom, you have your own curriculum, but you can decide what your classroom looks like. You can either be in a classroom in the penthouse or a classroom in the basement. It don't matter. You choose that. The lessons will be the same. The lessons will be the same, but you can choose your classroom. It's like you can choose your vehicle that you drive. It's like we are all on a road to life, but like what kind of car are you in? Like you can change the kind of car, you can upgrade it, downgrade it. It's like it doesn't make you a better person because you're in the basement. Like there's a lot of funny business around that and teachings, especially religious teachings about, you know, poverty is virtuous and that there's like a way to win this life and earn brownie points. Like there isn't. It's out here. It's all the inner work. Who was it? I didn't really study this guy, but his name was, why do I want to say, not Osha. What was his name? He was like a yogi dude, like a spiritual man. His name was it, why do I want to say Osha? Maybe it was Osha. No, OSHA's Occupational Safety and Health Administration. What is his name? Anyways, he was like the guru that drove the Bentleys. What was that guy? Osho. Osho, this guy. Osho. He really stirred some feathers. I haven't really, yeah, he was accused of a lot of things, but his main message was like, none of this matters. He like kind of made fun of it all, like driving Bentleys around and said, it doesn't matter. Like none of it matters. This is ridiculous. This is all an illusion, you know? Anyways, we got caught up in it. Look at me just going off on tangents when I gotta read. I gotta go. I gotta go for a run. Okay. Let's continue with How to Get Anything You Want by Elsie Lincoln Benedict. We are on the last few testimonials. I've loved the last two. How did you like those? I really have loved them. So these are people who took her course back in the early 1900s. Early 1900s. I cannot. I was born in the 1900s. Okay. How I Mastered an Overmastering Sorrow by Miss A.C. Downs from San Francisco. My only son went to war and was killed in the Argonne Forest in 1918. When I received the news, all the goodness and gladness went out of life for me. My husband and 3 daughters were almost as heartbroken as I, but I could think of nothing and nobody except myself and my poor boy. Our home became a place of gloom, and I am a bitter, stricken, resentful woman. I stopped attending church. What right had God, I cried, to send me a wonderful boy, and just as he reached his glorious blooming, take him away? I had my name removed from the organizations to which I belonged, even the Red Cross. I accepted no invitations, encouraged no one to come to our house, and went nowhere whatsoever. I was fast becoming a self-pitying recluse when one of your little books, The Fallacy of Grief, fell into my hands from the daughter who had heard some of your lectures. I read it at first only with contempt for one who, doubtless without having had any such experience herself, dared to condone the wrong that had been done to me. Later, when my daughter explained that this little book had been minted out of Miss Benedict's own great sorrow, I relented and read it again and then again. By the time I got around to wanting to hear her, she had left the city. But I had this one little book. It made of me a different woman. When she returned 2 years later, I had regained my faith and understanding and resumed once more my place as the mother of the 3 lovely young girls whom I had been neglecting, had once more become a helpful wife, was doing my bit as giving my mite for civic betterment. Oh, wow. I'll have to look into that. The Fallacy of Grief by Elsie Lincoln Benedict. Wow. She actually touches on this when earlier readings from 10 years ago when we started this book. It was probably in the earlier readings. She did talk about grief and heartbreak, how to get over that. And it's in one of these videos that we did, one of the previous 92 that we've done. So be sure to look through those. This is powerful. So she does talk about how, of course, grief is painful when we lose someone, when we get a heartbreak. But we have a choice. Are we going to continue to live or are we going to die? And it's each individual person's journey. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, I'm going to look into that. The Fallacy of Grief. All right. How I Got What I Wanted by George F. Wallace of Seattle. Early one evening in June 1920, I was passing the Masonic Temple in Seattle. A billboard in the foyer attracted my attention. It announced Miss Benedict's lecture for the week. Groups of people were going in, and I followed the crowd. I had always been sorry I did not note the day of the month, for it marked the great turning point in my life. You can get anything in this world you really want, said Miss Benedict during the course of the lecture. Of course, I didn't swallow that preposterosity. Preposterosity. She asked us to decide between then and the next evening just what we wanted more than anything else in the world, and get that much of a start before the class opened. I didn't need to decide. I had known for 28 years exactly what I wanted and why I wanted it, and what I would do with it if I ever got it. But of course, I did not expect it. The idea, however, that you could actually get anything you wanted was so ridiculous that I went back the next evening and joined the class just to see how she was going to extricate herself from that tangle. Naturally, I listened to everything she said in the light of my own long-cherished ambition. This was to own a large stock-raising business and breed high-grade horses and cattle. I had worked at various things and been trusted and respected, but I had never been able to save enough to start at what I wanted to do. Through those lessons, I found what had been holding me back. It came to me in a story she told from life about the man who was so sure his business was going to fail that he went to the bank to borrow some money. This was in a small city, and his bankers were well acquainted with him personally. Knowing him to be convinced that his business was going to the wall, they refused to lend him the money. He offered it for sale to two young men, and the bank loaned them the money instantly. For the young men were positive they could make a big success of the business, and the bankers knew that with this spirit, they were sure to win. The story jolted me out of a rut and waked me up. Next morning, I went to several men who had known me in and around Seattle for 20 years and told them what I wanted to do. They knew my experience, and seeing my enthusiasm and determination were induced to back me for a start. I am now out of debt and the owner of my dream. You never know, y'all. Have you asked people for help? Have you used all of your resources? Look around your property. Look around your house. That's what happened to me very recently. Wow, that's a great story. Okay. I think this is the last one. You guys, I think we're graduating. All right, are you ready? Are you ready, you guys? This is it. We're ending on video number 93. It's happening on Good Friday. All right. How I attained my ambition. This is from Helen V. Thurston of New York City. I have long felt that I owed it to other aspiring women to write the little story of how I realized my own ambitions. I have hesitated because it is almost impossible to talk about one's own affairs without appearing conceited. However, those who wish to will have to call me that. I am writing this just as it happened, for the sake of the others who need the same thing that helped me. I won't bore you with the story of my life, but to see how much New York meant to me and why I felt it was the center of the universe, I will explain that I grew up in a little Minnesota town near Minneapolis. I was ambitious to become a commercial artist, to illustrate books and advertisements and all such things. Like every child, I took to a pencil like a duck to water, and early in life, my fond parents knew I was going to be one of the world's geniuses. But I was an only child, and they could not think of my leaving home. As I grew older, they talked me out of planning on New York, and the one place, of course, where I wanted to go and where I knew I must go to succeed in this work. Everyone agreed that since more than 99% of all American books in national magazines were published there, I could never be a real success anywhere else. But they also regaled, but they also regaled me with the competition I would meet, the loneliness I would have to combat, and the failure that almost surely awaited me. Oh my goodness. At last, when I was 24 and had about decided I never could have done it anyway, Miss Benedict gave a few lectures in the city auditorium of Minneapolis, and I attended. I stopped thinking about the powers that would compete with me and oppose me in New York and began to do what she advised. Think of my own powers. I decided to go. When my parents knew I was in earnest, they were glad, for they admitted they had been a little disappointed in my not having gone on with my ambition. I announced my intention to my friends, burning my bridges behind me. As Miss Benedict advised, and the following spring arrived in New York. It was one of those dampish, drizzly, chilly late afternoons in April when I landed, and I pretty nearly lost hope. But I dug Miss Benedict's book out of my suitcase and spent the evening reading it in my little white cotted room at the Hotel Martha, Washington. By the time I was ready for sleep, I knew nothing could down me. I read that book till I had to have it rebound. Every time I'd see a telling sentence in it, I could fairly see Miss Benedict standing there as she had on the platform in Minneapolis saying, I believe in you. Go ahead, make your plans and preparations, and you will win. I didn't find things easy, as you may know. The field was crowded to bursting, and I was as green as grass. But I knew, and I ripened, and I stuck. For almost 2 years now, I have been making a splendid salary as a designer in a big cloak manufacturing house. My parents live here now, so they are not separated after all, and the world looks wonderful. Guys, that was it. How to Get Anything You Want. And that concludes our reading. How do you feel? How do you feel? I got this book a year ago. We did it. We read this whole thing together. Lesson 1 through 7 of Elsie Lincoln Benedict's School of Opportunity. I'll read the back again. So Elsie Lincoln Benedict, against all odds of her gender and era, Elsie Lincoln Benedict riveted her thoughts and nurtured her moods to create a life she loved. Over 3 million men and women around the globe flocked to listen and learn the obvious but unapplied laws of how to get anything you want, completely independent of a person's class, culture, gender, wages, or inheritance, when society relied heavily on these foundations. She assertively shared her message of hope and accountability. Elsie not only transformed her own life, but also the early 1900s has instructed others in the pursuit of greatness, creating a wave of transformation, particularly influencing the women's suffrage movement of her time. Today, her lessons are just as relevant, hope-infused, and transformative. Wow. At the request of her students, this book is a compilation of lectures Elsie orated to millions. Alone, it is interesting, but through diligent application, the concepts harbor success. We did it. I love her. I'm going to dive deeper into other readings. A lot of people, actually, I have downloaded. I don't know where it is. It's like a free PDF. It was like the psychology. Of course, it's a book about how to read other people and like manipulate. That's not her intention, but it reminds me of, and I love Robert Greene, like the 48 Laws of Power. But I'm not into that stuff. Like, I'm sure it's very interesting, but like, I don't give a about how to learn other people. I don't give it, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not into that dark psychology of like how to manipulate other people and have them like you. Everybody likes me. Okay, I've decided that. And if you don't, I'm sure the feeling's mutual. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's like, I don't need to play games, I don't need to play games. So anyways, how did you guys like that? I loved it. Thank you for your support. We did it. 93? Is that where we ended? 93. If you are wanting to watch all the other 92 videos, they are on this epic playlist. This has to go down in history. We will continue. Of course, I'll be here every day for the rest of the year because I committed to that. And so we'll see. I'll be traveling, so I'm not sure if I'll do a book or if I'll just, you know what? The Science of Getting Rich is something that I might do. We'll figure it out. I've already done the Power of Awareness and Awakened Imagination. I love the Science of Getting Rich, though. You know what? Wallace D. Wattles has a lot of other books that are really powerful. Or, you know what? What's his name? Thomas Troward, but that's a little too heavy for like something like this. I mean, who knows? But the Neville Goddard collection, he has a lot of great books. But I love Wallace D. Wattles. He has, or As a Man Thinketh, James Allen, he has a lot of books too. I have a lot of his books, but his book is so big. It's like a huge book, and I can't travel with that. Don't you worry. We'll figure this out. All right, y'all. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. We will continue tomorrow, but let's congratulate ourselves. We did it. We finished the book, How to Get Anything You Want by Elsie Lincoln Benedict. Congrats, y'all. All righty. Let me know what you think. Any comments? I appreciate your support. We'll see you tomorrow.